Breaking news, Jim Acosta reports Trump is having trouble breathing right now and has been very fatigued today, as per one of his campaign staff, which is an anonymous source. We'll get to everything, we'll cover everything because this has a ton of important consequences, and we'll talk about all of it after we watch this video and get the context.
Uh, Jim, you were there when the president walked out of the White House and boarded Marine One. Yeah, and I know you have some new reporting on his condition.
Yeah, Anderson, I talked to a Trump campaign advisor just a short while ago who said that this is serious, that the president has been having some trouble breathing, that he's been very fatigued today, very tired, and emphasized that this is not just a run-of-the-mill trip up to Walter Reed, that this is a serious situation. Talked to another source familiar with the situation this evening who said that there are serious concerns among White House staffers about the president's condition. Now, we should add to all of that, Anderson, that White House officials continue to maintain that the president is just experiencing mild symptoms from the coronavirus, has a fever, and they expect him to pull through just fine. But to have the president of the United States transported via Marine One to Walter Reed, where he's going to be staying there for the next few days, according to White House officials, and working out of the White House, according to those White House officials, that indicates that this is perhaps more than just a mild case of the coronavirus. And, the Trump advisor I spoke to earlier this evening emphasized that this is a serious situation for the president at this point, Anderson.
Okay. So first of all, let's take it at face value and say that this is true, that the president seems like his condition is worsening, which might be the case because from a lot of the stories that I've seen covering COVID patients who are sick or are in a mild to dire condition, they don't actually look sick, but things could get worse in any second. Judging by this video from Trump, which was released a few hours ago, it seems quite okay.
I want to thank everybody for the tremendous support. I'm going to Walter Reed Hospital. I think I'm doing very well, but we're going to make sure that things work out. The First Lady is doing very well. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. I will never forget it. Thank you. I want to thank everybody for the...
Okay, so first of all, he's not using his hands as he's usually doing, which kind of worries me. But jokes aside, some could say that him standing doesn't prove anything. You can probably record a dead man standing and looking fine. So this is actually for the next part of this video. This is him walking towards, I think, Marine One.
Video. Here's the video of the president walking out. Let's watch.
So the president's actually looking fine and is not like other candidates back in 2016 who were carried into the back of a van mysteriously. So I don't think that the Jim Acosta reporting is true, judging by the fact that a couple of weeks ago they tried to slam Trump with a fake report from an anonymous source, just like in this case, where he said something bad about the veterans. I don't recall exactly what he was allegedly saying because it's been like weeks ago, which is a lifetime in a news cycle time. So I don't think this report is true. I think that Jim Acosta is actually jumping right now to put out a breaking news because leftists are salivating at the idea of Trump's condition getting worsened. And as you can see, his name is trending on Twitter right now, and it's rising and rising ever since he reported it on CNN. Okay, President Trump is trending with way more tweets, but it's below Jim Acosta. As you can see, the top trending thing is that President Trump did not call COVID-19 a hoax, according to fact checkers, which is something I stated in the previous video as well, because leftists are saying that he called it a hoax, so he deserved to die from it, which is horrible. Let's now go to the other theory where Trump is faking the coronavirus, which is a viable possibility. Honestly, it's more than logical to think that the president would use it as a way to get people to reopen the economy, because if Trump, who's obese and old, gets out of the coronavirus successfully, gets back on his feet, and is completely healed out of it, it would give hope to many, many regular average Americans who are waiting for the lockdown sanctions to be lifted. So it might be a strategic move by the president to actually garner some sympathy and eventually fake him being cured from the coronavirus to give hope for Americans, and to show people that it's not a serious threat. Because let me tell you, for people like Trump, the virus is dangerous. Judging by the CDC stats, only 6% of the people who had coronavirus died from coronavirus, solely from having coronavirus. But Trump has comorbidities, which again is obesity, and the fact that he's very, very old. Not old like Biden, but still enough to put him at a high risk of dying. And honestly, could be dying from this disease if it's real. Like I said, from many of the articles and footage that I've seen, most of the strong cases of coronavirus, people don't look like they're dying, okay? They look quite normal. Maybe because it's propaganda and it's really a hoax, but I don't think it is. Maybe it's played up, but I don't think it is. And your condition could could ramp up in a second, and from good to worst from 0 to 100 in like 2 seconds. So Trump could actually be doing well in the videos that we've seen, but right now is actually doing bad, and the Jim Acosta report is true. Honestly and hopefully, I think Trump will come out of it, but it's not out of character for 2020 that Trump will die. This seems like the crescendo for 2020, which been a crazy year. We're only 2 months away from 2021, and 2020 seems like it started only yesterday. Especially keeping the fact that we spent most of our time in our homes quarantined, which made the time go even slower for those of us who have hobbies outside of our home. I'm actually more introverted, so it was relatively easy, but even for me, it was starting to get pretty annoying, having to stay at home all this time without being able to see my girlfriend or go outside and train jiu-jitsu and doing everything else we do to keep our life normal in our day-to-day life. And it was definitely a pain in the ass. Now, the last thing I want to touch before we go from this video is, what are the consequences if Trump dies? Do you think Republicans will protest? And if they find out that China was responsible for releasing the virus maliciously, do you think that the Americans would want to go to war? Or the Democrats will get elected by beating Pence and actually bury down the story, even if it was the case? Judging by the fact that conservatives don't usually protest, they probably wouldn't. And one last thing I want to touch is that Michael Moore, as you probably can see, is trending as well, because he said Trump might be faking COVID diagnosis, which, like I said, is definitely a possibility. And don't forget that Michael Moore made a prediction that Trump would win in the 2016 election with a pretty inspiring speech, because you can call him a rich white out of touch man, but he has some good predictions and good diagnosis when it comes to politics. You may not agree with everything about him or everything he says, but it could be right that Trump is faking it. Like I said, coronavirus is not a very visible disease when you're not well. So Trump, even though it might seem well, it might be actually slowly dying. Knock on wood, I hope he doesn't. I actually like this president the most. I think he did the most out of the recent decades for the Conservative Party and for the American people in general. He had an historically great economy, and I don't want to see him go. especially after this election. I want to start dumping my money into the S&P 500, so I hope Trump stays for the second term. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, share it around. Hopefully the president will recover. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. And I'll see you in the next video, hopefully with some good news about Trump recovering.